guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, on a very, very happy Wednesday. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, your host for today. Pleased to feature on Talk Today, Rotary Central, Science Fair, the Crisis Center, and then at 1:30, a focused interview with the new Cayman Islands National Party. As always, we do encourage you to join the conversation. Simply dial 949-6990 or WhatsApp us at 925-3261. Back with more Talk Today following this very brief disclaimer.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
To Talk Today, in case you're just tuning in, I am Raymond Singh, your host for this very happy Wednesday. Big thank you to Mr. Rossi for holding down the fort yesterday. Very pleased to have in studio today three delightful individuals from the Rotary Central, and we'll be discussing the upcoming Science Fair. So good afternoon. If we get some introductions, starting to my left.
Okay. Larry Tibbetts, past president for Rotary Central.
Celia Middleton, current secretary for Rotary Central.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marzita Baden, and I'm currently the Director of Youth Services for Rotary Central.
Awesome. Well, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the show. How's everyone enjoying the day so far? Anything exciting happen? Besides, obviously, coming on the radio with us.
Yeah, it's great. And it's a little bit cooler today, a little bit overcast, which is nice. A little breeze in the air. I think everybody can appreciate that because summer's coming.
We felt it last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes. I remember you noticed it last week. It was a noticeable, and we're going to notice it when the bill comes out. At the end of the month, right? We're like, nice soft breezes, come on back. But anyhow, welcome again to Talk Today. And here we're talking about the upcoming Rotary Central Science Fair. So walk us through it, the basics of it. We can do a deep dive.
So the Rotary Science Fair, it's been around for many years now, and it's coming up on the 5th of April. So that's just a few weeks away at the Cayman Arc, the Arts and Recreation Centre. So this is an annual event where Rotary encourages young people in the Cayman Islands to get involved with sciences, STEM. And it involves people having projects that are submitted across multiple categories. Earth science, so that includes the environment, the weather that we were just talking about, astronomy and ecology. There's life science, including microbiology, botany, zoology. There's physics, chemistry, and computer science, and food health. And anyone's listening, or if any young people out there, or parents perhaps, what we want young people to do is think about topics that they've studied in science class. Look at the ones that are most interesting and exciting, that they're curious about. And then, ask yourself a question about a particular topic which you don't have an answer. And then you make a project. Simple, clear, straightforward. And science teachers would be more than happy to help. But you enter your project. Our website is rotarysciencefair.ky. And then we'll go through a judging process using this scientific method. And at the end of the day, you've got a chance to win great prizes. First prize is $1,500 cash. Second prize is $1,000. And third prize is $500. There's a banquet at the end of the day to celebrate all participants, to give the awards. We've got a guest speaker. But ultimately, the real benefits of it are to get valuable science experience. So creative thinking, independent research, problem solving, and so much more. So it's been a project that we've been really proud of to have in the Cayman Islands for a really long time. And we're looking forward to having more young people show their interest in sciences this year.
Awesome. Mr. Larry, anything you want to add on to that?
The only thing I would or what I would like to add, this the science fair with Rotary Central came about as with one of our members, the late Dr. Bill Rudy. He was a neurologist, and he was also very much inclined towards seeing young people get into the sciences, and he brought that forward to the club. The club came on board in support of it, and even though he left the club, the science fair continued, and I think it was at the 10th year we decided to rename it the Dr. Bill Rudy Rotary Science Fair.
And how many years has it been going on now?
It's been going on, if I'm not mistaken,
Since 2006.
It started in 2006, so this will be the 19th year.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Nearing that 20-year marker.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So big celebration coming up for sure. And just in case anyone's wondering, this is open to all students who are, budding young scientists, if you will.
Age-wise, what are we looking at?
Yes, well, at one stage it was only for high school students, but because of the interest in seeing it go into the elementary schools, we changed that probably about eight years or so ago. We changed it that elementary school students can enter as well. So it's available to all schools, elementary and high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and if students are homeschooled, they're
Yes,
of course included.
absolutely,
We
yes.
usually have very great representation
Absolutely.
from homeschoolers each year, and so whatever your method of schooling in the Cayman Islands, public, private, homeschool, or otherwise, all are invited to attend and participate, and encouraged to do so. It's a great opportunity to, like I said, ask a question that you don't have the answer to, go through your independent research, and then present that at the end of the day. And the judges on the day are from science-related backgrounds for the most part. There's a judging criteria that's available on the website that if you want to look into that in terms of what we're looking for. But ultimately, you're going through the multiple steps of the scientific method, the question, research, hypothesis, experiment, observations, results, conclusion, and then communicate, present, share your results. And it's also open to the public. So if anyone's listening and think, well, I don't have a child to enter, or I don't have a project, it is open for people to attend on the 5th of April at the Ark at Cayman Bay, starting at 8 a.m. When the projects will be set up. And then you can pop by, and I believe projects get torn down around 2 o'clock. So throughout the day, you can come by, see the project, see what's there. There's always something that you can learn. I think we're all able to learn. But just to be impressed by the projects that the young people put forward and encourage them, because I think that's what this is really about. It's about encouraging them to express themselves, to explore, to learn, to grow, and then see they have a community of people behind them as well.
Fantastic. On that note, let's go to a short commercial break in a moment. When we come back, we'll take a deeper dive into a few questions about some of the age brackets, again, some of these categories, and how we can get more input from the schools and parents involved in this. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. Oh, don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board our uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Bodden, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Bodden Town. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Hello, this is Ralston Anglin, inviting you to my campaign launch rally on Saturday, March 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Cayman Turtle Center's parking lot. Come out and join me for an evening of testimonials, plans for a future, light refreshment, and local entertainment. Remember, on April 30th, vote number 1, Ralston, Raleigh Anglin for West Bay North.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host for this Wednesday. In studio from Rotary Central, we please have in studio Miss Marzeta, Miss Celia, and Mr. Larry discussing the upcoming Science Fair on April 5th. In case you missed the segment prior to the break, we were kind of outlining the various categories that students can enter. That this is actually for all schools, including homeschool, for all ages. Really just to really allow students and give them a space and opportunity to really explore the creative side of science from what they're learning in school and put it into some real world applications, which the whole community is encouraged to come out and support, because these are 50, 75, 100 of our Cayman students who are doing some really, really cool things. Mm-hmm. So great for Rotary Central for 19 years putting this on. Mm-hmm. So with regards to the categories again, I know you mentioned having judges that are going to be from the respective communities judging the scientific process. Mm-hmm. But we have the categories of earth, astronomy, ecology, life sciences, which are like your biosphere, scenario physics, computer science, food health. Mm-hmm. And the food health one was not really stuck out for me because we just came off the agriculture show last week, right? As far as the food health, what are some of the projects you may have seen in the past or you're kind of hoping to see this year? And I know it's a lot because you see a lot of projects, but this is a really big one. We're talking about food security when we talk about food health, right? Not that everything else is not important, but
yeah, for sure.
But as far as that category, Celia?
I recall a couple years ago, maybe not, if not last year, then the year before, there was a young entrant who looked on moldy bread and the conditions that mold developed on bread. From my recollection, she may have been 5 or 6, so she was one of our younger competitors, and it was very interesting. She did a deep dive into the conditions under which mold grows on bread. And so, yes, that could be used commercially if it goes further, but yes, so it can be anything having to do with food or health.
That's actually pretty impressive, right? Although putting my parent hat on, as a parent of that 6-year-old, you had to sit there and watch them grow mold in your kitchen and be okay with it, right?
And her project, because you are required to produce a poster board, and her poster board had her samples, not just pictures of previous experiments, but she had her samples preserved and properly labeled so we could see the results from the different conditions.
Was there a picture of her mom on the board as well?
But can you imagine, right? She deciding, here's my question, here's my hypothesis, looking forward to it, and then the confidence that comes when she's watching the bread, and then there's nothing, but then one day there's a mold, and it's like, I did it, look, I did it, and it's the confidence that comes from, I tried the thing, here it appears. Yeah, it's a mold, but still it's, working towards the result that she wanted. And that's what we see across the projects, right? Yeah. It's like, did this happen or didn't happen? And we've seen all sorts of creative things. Like you talked about the mold. We saw how plants respond to certain types of hydration. Like there was someone who did water, but then they did water that had different levels of salinity in it and that kind of thing. So it's so fascinating. And again, I think there's no such thing as a bad science project because the building blocks of it there, you have the question, you work through it, and at the end of the day, it's really about the benefit to the participant. And there are some people who opt to do a project all on their own, but then we have groups as well, which is always quite fun because you'll see, have a word with the group that's doing the project. And clearly there's one student who was fascinated by the way that the project came together, or one was fascinated with the outcome, or one was in the nuance, and it helps them develop teamwork and communication within the team and problem solving. So there's so many benefits to being involved in it, and we can all support them by attending on the day, 5th of April at Arca Cayman Bay, between 8 and 2. And sponsoring, being there, encouraging a project. Like I said, it's been around since 2006, and these are projects that can go on high school resumes to help support college applications and so much more. PP Larry?
And that's what I would like to add. It has been a springboard for students wishing to go to do further education. They get into the science fields because they got their first taste of science at the science fair because of competing in the science fair.
That begs a really good question. So 19 years on, you would theoretically 19 years ago have had a 10-year-old involved in that science fair who's that. Is there those success stories where we'll be able to look back 19 years ago, maybe for your 20th, and kind of say, hey, 20 years ago we had this, little Julie did XYZ.
Yes.
Now little Julie is I don't know, whatever at the hospital, right?
Yeah, great idea. Always good to capture success stories, and I will make a note to pass that in my handover notes to the next Director of Youth Services for next year.
20 years on, right? If you've had average of 30, 40, that's 600 students.
For sure. And, we did have a brief hiatus around the pandemic, as many projects and activities did. But we're really pleased that, as we continue to come out of that, the number of projects being submitted continues to grow, and we're hoping to get back to our pre-pandemic levels. I feel like everybody's talking about trying to get there, but so typically we've had, I think at our peak we had 90 projects.
Oh wow.
Last year we had maybe 50 or 60 projects, and so we're hoping to get near or exceed that this year. And so again, those categories are people who are listening to us now. We have the earth sciences covering environment, the weather, astronomy, ecology, life sciences, it's microbiology, botany, zoology, and then we've got physics, chemistry, computer science, and then food and health. And it really is as simple as a student, public, private, homeschool, think of a topic that they've studied in science class. Think of what do they find most interesting? What are they curious about? What do they want to know about? Ask a question about the topic that you don't have an answer to yet and you want to find it. And then, build your project. We have a application form on the website, rotarysciencefair.ky. You can see the scoring sheet. You can see all the categories. There's resources as well for teachers, for students, where to get ideas, inspiration, information, and beyond. And I'm sure that any science teacher in the Cayman Islands, if your student came up to you and said, hi, I want to enter a project in Science Fair, you're going to get support to participate in it. But I encourage people to visit the website to get information, to learn more about it, ask for help, and enter a project. It's a really great opportunity to be a part of something really cool and really fun. And if you don't submit, at least come out and maybe be inspired for next year.
Yeah. I'm thinking back when my son was at First Baptist. I remember them doing the in-school Science Fair, sorry, and whoever kind of came out of that as their wins went on to represent the school at the Science Fair. So for those kids that are, can parents enter these, or does it have to be entered through the school or through kids? What if a child decides to enter a project and doesn't do very well in the school Science Fair? They can update, make adjustments from that prejudging and re-enter? Is that the student that enters, the school that enters?
Well, I think that it's, I know of several schools in the Cayman Islands who have their own sort of science fair, and I kind of want to think that in some ways Rotary's science fair has inspired that. And I think it's great. They get sort of initial feedback, and sure, you can tweak it then if you want. Always need to be learning, right? But this is open invitation. There's no pre-qualification for you to enter.
Right.
All that's necessary is that you follow the steps, the guidelines that are provided. You register. You are a student in the Cayman Islands public, private, home school, and you enter to participate. Obviously, you want to have your parents' permission, because if you're going to be growing mold in your house or using some random liquid to see if plants respond to it, you probably want to have adult supervision. And there's guidance about that too on there. You want to make sure that, you're not involved with machinery, fire, anything can cause harm, and you make sure you do things supervised. That's just wise and standard, and we of course encourage that. But there's no pre-qualification requirement at all to be in Rotary Science Fair. And if you had a project that you thought, what, I do that great in the school Science Fair, but I want to give this a go again, please come, because you'll have another opportunity to try it again, to present it to a whole new audience, to show your work to other people, and you never know what you might learn. So
I love it. And then as far as parents and their role in this, because many times parents are very hands-on. I can imagine with the 5 and 6-year-old, mom and dad are going to be helping out in a little more capacity, because linguistics, whatever, logistics, lifting stuff up is going to be buying bread from the store. There's going to be parents that have to help. What do we say to parents out there about how they can best assist their kids with this? Because in my head just now, I jokingly just kind of thought through in there, for a high school parent, you could recommend to your son or daughter that's 16 years old to do a science project based on, doing laundry. Like you could take it around and say which fabric softener, reduces the most amount of static electricity. What's the best way to fold the clothes to maximize space in the drawer? For that, there's your physics. There's your scientific process.
Yeah.
Parents, you can get some chores done.
sounds like Ray wants to enter a project himself.
I want to enter a project for my son. I want my
of
son
course. Of course. Phoenix, are you listening?
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think what we want is for parents to just encourage their children. Be supportive, be open. If a child comes with the idea, of course, and if you don't feel that you have necessarily the information, use the resources. We have a ton on the website. I think there's Science Buddies, Science Bulb, education.com. There's a bunch of sites on there that you can reference, but also, again, the science community in your child's school. Who knows, maybe your neighbor or a friend or a relative might have some science skills, so seek out for help. But the idea is we want to encourage people to support their students in participating, whatever that may look like.
Could a whole class theoretically submit a project? Like, could a whole grade 2 class do a...
I think, but theoretically, but I think to enter, there is a limit to the numbers who can form a team. I don't think a team can be bigger than 6 for logistic reasons, because on the day, not only do they have a table where they set up their project, but there is a explanation, because the judging criteria requires them to explain what the project is about.
Of course.
So to your first question about parental help, it should be parental support rather parental doing the work for them,
of
because
course, absolutely.
the child needs to be able to explain to the judges what it's all about. So the parents can support in that regard. But in relation to too large of a team, that may defeat the whole process, because it's best for each member to have a particular role, to feel as if they're actually benefiting, rather not just sitting in the back and watching the other students get the project done.
No, absolutely. And maybe that's something that schools could take on themselves, if like class project, because it makes teaching the subject a little easier if the whole class is hands-on, throwing the dirt into the pot to make the plants and whatever it might be. Anyhow, sorry, on that note, let's go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll revisit everything we just said and make sure we get a lot more sign-ups this year for the Rotary Central Science Fair. Back with more talk today right after this.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
I'm Joy, and last year I was selected to take part in the Cayman Islands Residential Building Energy Efficiency Program. They showed me how a small change, like adjusting the AC to 85 degrees when I'm not home, can make a difference to my energy consumption, which means the difference in my bill. Now I keep cool for less. You can learn these energy saving tips too. Simply download the DIY Energy Audit created by the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency and Wellness, and start saving energy and money today. Energy efficiency pays off. Find out how. Visit www.gov.ky/energy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your host for this happy Wednesday. In the studio again, in case you've missed it, Rotary Central here discussing the upcoming Science Fair taking place on April 5th at the Ark in Camana Bay. We've been going throughout this segment the various particulars for parents. But Marzita, you mentioned that you have a website with a ton of information for parents. What is that website again, and what can parents actually find on that website that can really guide them in this process?
So the event website is rotarysciencefair.ky. rotarysciencefair.ky. And on that, you're going to find all the information about Science Fair, the date, time, location, which is Saturday the 5th of April at the Ark at Cayman Bay. There's also the registration form. There's information on the judges' scoring sheet, so you can see exactly what the criteria is for judges to assess each of the projects. The categories are there as well. Those 4 categories: life sciences, earth sciences, physics and computer science, chemistry, and then food and health. And there's resources for teachers and parents about how to have some hands-on STEM in the classroom in the case of teachers. Ways to give your children some STEM fun during breaks, for example, to encourage and nurture their interest in STEM and the sciences. But there's also some sites like Science Buddies, Science Bob, education.com, and a few others that we have learned from the science community that we're connected to are really helpful with our students advancing their interest and knowledge and their entries for the science fair as well. So there's lots of information there, plus information on the prizes that are available for students who choose to participate. There's information about how to be a sponsor for the event as well. I think there's great benefits to do that, because you're not only working with Rotary and having the support of us and our teacher community, but you'll be partnering with other businesses across the islands who believe in STEM and believe in this. We've been doing this in 2006, so we have a great track record of success when it comes to this project. And then, of course, the benefits to students for participating: increased self-esteem, potentially starting a career in STEM or the sciences, developing their interviewing skills, because they got to go through all the steps and then present on the day. And then for the public too, if you're just curious about it and want to know more, you can go on the website, but be sure to come down on the 5th of April between 8 and 2 p.m., 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the day. And then at the end of it all, we celebrate in the evening at 6 p.m. with a closing banquet where we have a guest speaker, and we obviously serve a delicious dinner to the students, and then we recognize the winners from the judging that just taken place earlier that day. So it's a full day of science and fun. Rotary Central, this is one of our major products that we do for the community. It is free to enter. There's no cost to enter. And any student in the Cayman Islands, public schools, private schools, or homeschooling, free to enter. So again, Rotary Science Fair.ky.
Awesome. Larry, Miss Celia, anything further you want to add on that?
No, just to say that definitely we look forward to having a lot of participants, and definitely and we invite everyone in the community to come by and see what the students have to offer.
I too echo that, and I encourage the parents, come out. You'll be very surprised to see, particularly, and I have a soft spot for the younger entrants, because 2 soft spots, I should say. The really young ones who they're budding, they're so excited, and it's a big deal for them to come out on a Saturday to the ARC to come and set up their project, as well as the more advanced students, particularly the males. Yes, it's still predominantly the males that participate in the physics and the IT-based projects. And when you hear those young men speak, I look at them and I just hear the crickets, because I understand zero what they're speaking about, but they're so passionate about their projects that they've worked on. I've seen mini robots, I've seen young men have things going on the screen. We don't know what's happening, but they're explaining and they're so excited. And it is just that it's an exciting event for the participants to come, not just the work that they did these weeks or months ahead, but it's to be there in a public space explaining their thought, their vision to somebody who is actually paying attention to them and listening and learning from them. And that's why Science Fair, Rotary Science Fair, is priceless to the community.
I love that, especially the part with the crickets. Because you just said right after that, and learning from them, I'm like, I don't understand their language, though. They're speaking a foreign language. It sounds like English, but it's a foreign language. I don't really understand a lot of it. I'm with you on this.
This is where we have an opportunity to, when we are at the science fair and you're exploring the projects, they might have their little script prepared, but if you don't understand, you can say, can you explain that a little more to me? And it gives them an opportunity to practice their oral delivery, thinking about how do I share this idea in another way. So we all have an opportunity to be a part of their learning and growth and development. And they might explain it to you 6 different ways and you don't understand. But like Secretary Celia said, you'll see their delight and their enjoyment and their passion about it. Because at the end of the day, yes, we want the toxics. You want the projects to be non-toxic, non-flammable, and safe. We want them to be within the categories. We want them to be limited to 4, all those things. We really want them to have fun at the end of the day. And I think this all culminates on the day when they have the opportunity to not just kick off the nerves when they're talking to the judges, but people from the public who come and ask them questions, and they can see that they're making an impact and learning and have the support of our community. That's what it's really about.
You snuck in a bit there about the flammable item. Probably lead with that one next time.
Yeah, well, so on the science fair rules, rule number 3, your project must be safe and may not involve toxic, flammable, or other hazardous materials, nor otherwise pose a hazard or danger to yourself or others. So if you were thinking about something with fire, flame, sharp implements, something like that, please no. But yeah, the science fair rules is all on our website as well, rotarysciencefair.ky, and it gives you guidelines, and we do assess the projects that come in, and we again, having done this since 2006, we can sort of flag and look and see, is there something that's a potential issue here, and we provide guidance to the students to make sure that the project they're embarking upon is safe from our perspective. But of course, we want that the parents or teachers who are supervising it, they have their obligation, of course, to make sure that the students are safe and whatever they do too. So it's all on the website, rotarysciencefair.ky, the rules, the judging, the criteria, resources, information, and so much more. And
that's I know the safety one is definitely an important one. Although I can imagine some little boys going, "Oh man, there goes my little I had a little explosion I want to do," and you don't wonder at least one that was thinking it, right?
Yeah, of course.
The rule's there for a reason, right?
They are there for a reason, for sure.
Because someone tried it before. It didn't work out very well.
Yes. Probably. And you know what? Maybe one day they'll be able to be involved in science projects that are a bit more risky. But for right now, I want to keep everyone safe and make sure that they have a fun time with these projects. They can safely participate and deliver them. But yeah, don't try anything crazy at home, please. Thanks.
I will say, like back when my son was 5 and 6, he did the science fair for his school, and his little project was a little Rocket Man project. So the volcanoes we'd have back in the day, where you put the Alka-Seltzer and the vinegar and go, and it was food coloring. He took little film cases from back in the day and did it. Mm-hmm. So when it went pop, it shot off like a little rocket. But that was how he got around it wasn't explosions, but it was Alka-Seltzer.
You said film cases, and I wonder how many people listening just went, what is he talking about? No, I was like, we're aging ourselves.
Our listeners all know exactly what I meant by
I know some really young people who do listen in as well, and so if you didn't know, go ask your parents what the film cases
what a film roll case
the little black ones with the gray top.
Yeah, it's a great science project idea. Bring that back to the science.
Bring them back. A retro science project.
Because all the Rotary Central directors would be like, wow, look what you did. We remember this.
Nostalgia. Let's see if the criteria has anything about nostalgia. It's all on our website. Check it out. But no, it's not there. But I think it would probably delight a lot of people who are checking out the project too.
No, it's very cool. And I have one last question, because we're going to go to our 1 p.m. news in a second. You mentioned sources of information for ideas. And one of the things that popped in my head just now was the use of ChatGPT or AI to help you, brainstorm ideas. Like asking ChatGPT, hey, can you throw me some ideas on projects that involve food and health safety that are appropriate for a 12-year-old? And see what options it kind of puts out. That gives you kind of a starting point to go and research. Is that something that's encouraged by Rotary Central, or what is the appropriate application of AI, if any? Because I know, sorry.
Well, I wouldn't. We haven't touched the AI category or appropriateness of it, but because the entrant requires a testable question.
Yes.
So the testable question can come from anywhere. If they got it from their teacher, they read it in a book, they found it on the internet. So using ChatGPT or any other AI tool to assist you in coming up with a testable question, there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, the person who enters would have to take the question, develop the project, go through the steps to eventually get a conclusion. It's not like ChatGPT is going to come up with their entire project for them. It's just a tool, and that's what AI is generally. It's a tool to make work easier.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that, because I know that will help a few parents that are trying to figure out why jump on a website and research all the projects. But we have 1 minute left. Very quickly, just run through very, very quickly dates, locations, source of information. please, if you don't mind.
Did you have something, PP Larry? I feel like you had something burning you wanted to share. No?
No, not exactly. I give way to you.
Okay.
I like this.
So
I like this.
just checking, because PB Larry has been an incredible member of our club for so long and a wealth of information. So I wanted to make sure if he had anything to share that he wanted to do that. It's the Rotary Science Fair is happening on the 5th of April, Saturday the 5th of April at the Ark at Cayman Bay. Project set up at 8 o'clock, and then it runs until 2 p.m. breakdown, and then at 6 in the evening is our awards banquet. It is open to the public to attend, but more importantly, or just as importantly, it is open to all students in the Cayman Islands, public, private, homeschool, to enter projects. We have 4 categories that are available on our website, rotarysciencefair.ky. There's information on judges' scoring, the categories themselves. There's resources for teachers, parents, sites to inspire your project. There's also criteria for the projects as well available on the website. I think ultimately the most important thing is, do you have a question and do you not have the answer to that, and are you curious about it, maybe inspired by something you learned in class or something you've seen or something you've heard? Might be a great science fair project. So everyone is welcome to enter a project. Again, rotarysciencefair.ky. And if you have any questions, write us, and someone from the Rotary Central Science Fair Committee will get back to you about that. But we look forward to receiving your entrance and projects and seeing as many people as possible come out to support these young, budding scientists on the 5th of April at Cayman Bay between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Folks, thank you so much for that. I do have to rush you because we don't go to our news, but thank you so much again, Rotary Central, April 5th at the Ark Cayman Bay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, folks, and have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. On that note, we're going to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. When we come back, we'll be sitting out at the Crisis Center, and then later, the Cayman Islands National Party. Back with more talk today after this.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
In your headlines, the Ministry of Tourism and Ports warns the public about a series of fake news reports that have been going around on social media concerning Deputy Premier the Honourable Kenneth Bryan. Some of these contain links to a supposed investment scheme, which is actually a phishing scam. Anyone who receives the fake articles in their social mix. In international headlines, the European Union today announced retaliatory trade action with new duties on U.S. industrial and farm products, responding within hours to the Trump administration's increase in tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports to 25%. The EU measures will cover goods from the U.S. worth some 26 billion euros, or about 28 billion U.S. dollars. Not just steel and aluminum products, but also textiles, home appliances, and agricultural goods. U.S. arms deliveries to Ukraine resumed today after the Trump administration lifted its suspension of military aid for Kiev in its fight against Russia's invasion. Ukrainian officials signaled they were open to a 30-day ceasefire backed by Washington. A Kremlin spokesperson said today that it is important not to get ahead of the question of responding to the ceasefire proposal. He told reporters that Moscow is awaiting detailed information about it from the U.S., and suggested that Russia must get that first before it can take a position. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
The Spelman McLaughlin home, a historic residence in Creek, Cayman Brac, stands atop a small hill along Creek Road. Constructed from 1926 to 1930 under the meticulous supervision of Spelman McLaughlin. The home was built using timber from Mobile, Alabama, and Pensacola, Florida, and features unique architectural elements such as a 3-gable roof and full-section log post. The home, designed with 8 exterior rooms around a central dining room, was a refuge during the devastating 1932 hurricane, sheltering 130 people and remaining largely intact despite the storm destruction. Today, the home, which received the Award of Distinction for the Preservation of Historic Places in 1999, has been restored by Dan and Lisa Scott, who replaced the zinc roof with original cedar shingles, preserving its historic charm.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your host for this Wednesday. Thank you again to the team from Rotary Central for stopping by the studio and talking about the upcoming science fair on April 5th. Now pleased to have in studio, this is International Women's Month, and in studio, the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, we have Miss Chrisanne, my apologies, and Miss Tamianne. Correct?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you for having us today.
So happy was it? Now, I did see you in the BRAC, Ms. Chrisanne. How did you enjoy it? Was it your first time in the BRAC?
No, actually, it's been my 4th time
awesome.
for personal visit, but also for work purposes. We were there in October. We did a little networking. We had a few booth setups at the marketplace at Kirk O'Connell's, and that was just us being out in the community, sharing some information with the Cayman Brac population, and also spreading awareness on the issue of domestic abuse.
Awesome. And then how did you find the agriculture show itself? And
it was amazing.
It was fun.
Yes, so we got a few persons coming over, and they were talking about the things that they want to get involved with, and that was perfect because we are hoping to make the persons living in Cayman Brac be more aware of the programs and services that we offer, and letting them know that this is available to them if they ever need that service. Yeah.
Awesome. And then now, Tamianne, I didn't see you over the BRAC. You missed out on all the fun.
Yes, I did get to miss out. I was supposed to go with her.
Oh, you were?
Yes. But again, I was scheduled to work at the shelter and didn't see too much opportunities to switch other ships.
Yeah.
So, of course, our main aim is to help the women.
Of course.
So I was needed at the shelter, and I'm sure that Chrisanne did an awesome job over there and represented as well.
She could have used
Thank
your help.
you.
You could have used your help. Just teasing. Did a great job.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into today's conversation because it is Women's Month, International Women's Month. Sorry. Walk us through what's going on at the Crisis Center.
So I'm not sure if many persons are familiar, but March 8th, which is also International Women's Day, serves as our inception date. So this year, on that day, we commemorated 22 years of service to the community. And with that, we just want to talk about the theme for International Women's Day, which is Accelerate Action. And for us at the Crisis Center, I mean, we have our different programs and services. I'll allow Tamianne to tell you a bit more about that later. But we also have a few collaborations that we have out in the community. We have one main thing is our Outfit for Opportunities. We're collaborating with GCM and Walkers. And with that initiative, we are hoping to expand the horizons for our women clientele and for all the other clients that are within our different programs. And this opportunity is basically us suiting them up for the professional world. If they have any scholarship interviews, if they have any job interviews that they want to get into, or even just simple career progression, wanting to look professional in their different work environments. So that's the purpose of this initiative. But we also have a partnership with Connect by Nova, and with this partnership, it's basically equipping them with the necessary resources and the skills that they will need in the event that they are going into a professional or educational field going forward. We also have different programs. We have a collaboration with HSA, and it's called the Community Baby Shower. And this is us.
Say it again?
The Community Baby Shower.
Community baby shower. Okay.
So this happened last year, and it's something that we are involved in again this year. And this is providing our newborn moms who have newborns and also persons who are currently pregnant. And they get some Pampers, they get some wipes, they get some clothing, and also they have the opportunity to talk or maybe discuss with health professionals in that space if they have any queries or concerns.
Okay, so you have a few different things, and this is all this month only, or are these ongoing throughout the
year? So the Community Baby Shower is happening next month, but the other partnerships are what we're looking to do for the entire year.
Okay.
For the Outfit for Opportunities, we recently received a donation, so that's good. And we have another in the pipeline. Hopefully, we can get some more clothing in for male, because that's one of the population which we see that need. There's a need for clothing from that. So if there's anyone out there who would like to donate some male clothing, we're always open to that.
What kind of clothing?
Male clothing.
Make clothing?
Male.
Oh, male.
Yes.
Male clothing. Sorry.
Yes.
So we were talking women for a second, then you said it, I'm like, I know she said something. All right, well, male clothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes. So like men's professional clothing.
Yes,
like
men
jackets,
professional
ties,
clothing. And even casual wear. I mean, when we have our warehouse days, that's usually a complaint for the persons who are in or tie a teen and young adult program, and they're mainly male participants, so we want to ensure that we're as inclusive as possible. We want them to come and they're able to get stuff from our warehouse days.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. And then as far as the services that the shelter is, or the crisis center is putting on right now?
Well, the crisis center has different areas, different programs that we assist the community in. And just that you know, though we are geared towards helping women and children, we do assist men as well. Sadly, our first point of contact, the first physical point of contact, which is our shelter, does not accommodate men, but we do accommodate women and their children who have gone through domestic or sexual abuse. Through that program, we house the ladies and their children. It's a safe shelter. It's where they still get to live their lives, so they still get to go to work, they still get to go and visit friends and families, but it's just for them to have that peace of mind that I'm safe and I'm secured.
Sure.
At that stage, we are helping them transition, so it's helping them emotionally, it's helping them feel physically safe, and also if they need help with seeking jobs or immigration issues, lawyer issues, all of that, we help to navigate the different systems with them. From there, they can go on to our aftercare program. And sorry, just to backtrack, our shelter does host our crisis line, and that's a 24/7 line. So someone is there every step of the day. And that number is 943-2422. You can call, you can make queries, you can speak to us, whatever it is, you call and we will help you navigate that system as well. And like I said, men are able to call that line. So from the shelter, women go to our aftercare program. Our aftercare program is a continuation of the shelter. The only thing is they don't have that safe space, or rather they don't have that shelter safe space. But when they leave the shelter, our aim is to get them into a safe space, into their own homes, where that's also empowering them to make those steps into transitioning back into the world. So our aftercare program continues to help them navigate the systems, help them to build on whatever progress they made at the shelter. And that's just to let them know that you still have us to help, and to make sure that when you make that transition, it's smooth, it's easy for you. You don't have to think that, oh, we just left you out in the wilderness. And our other two programs is our children and youth program and our teen and young adult program. Those are geared to the children of the women who come to the shelter, but also if it is that you need help with your child, you can bring them to the programs. You don't have to be a past client or a client at our shelter to access those programs. The children and youth program, that is geared towards children up to the age of 13. Is it? Yes, 13. And our teen and young adult program is geared towards 14 to 21.
Okay.
Yes. So our children and youth program helps the children to navigate life in a home with domestic abuse, helping them to process what's happening around them, helping them just learn how to not take on what's happening in their homes, as well as the teen and young adult. It also helps with that. That space is for them to learn and accept that there are environments that are safe for them. So we create that safe environment for them to come to our Estella Place location, which is on Crown Square. They come there, they meet with us. We just create that environment that they know I'm safe, I'm secured. We help them learn different life skills. We help them to have fun as well, meet with their peers, interact with their peers, learn healthy relationships with their peers, and also while interacting with us, learning and knowing how to interact with adults out in the real world. And like Chrisanne was saying, if it is that you want to be helping, we have our warehouse days. That's every Wednesday, 12 to 1, where you can donate. You donate clothing, you donate proms, strollers, whatever it is, we accept them, because or the ladies that come to our shelter and the ladies who have left our shelter sometimes are in need of those things. And please, we do accept male clothing items as well. Like you said, that's a point of contention. The women have their sons. We have our teen and young adults who need those items. And our volunteer program, if you want to come and help, our organization is held up with our volunteers, and we appreciate them a lot, and most of them are women, so we acknowledge them every day and we empower them through that as well. So they come and they help us with the warehouse days, they help us with shelter coverage, they help us with groceries, those different things. And also if it is that they have skills that we may need to use, they help us by providing those skills and services to us. So if it is that you want to help the ladies learn something or help to empower the ladies, you can call us and we see how well we can work into getting you into a meeting with the ladies to help to empower them as well.
Absolutely.
That was a mouthful.
Just to add to that, we also have our outreach program, and this is basically a part of outreach, us being in the community at different events, like what we did in the BRAC, also doing presentations to organizations, just raising some awareness on the issue of domestic abuse in the Cayman Islands and in a general space. But we also talk about healthy relationships. We focus on the impacts of domestic abuse on children, navigating healthy relationships and social media, healthy relationships and intimate partners, whatever it is that we see aligns with the scope of domestic abuse. We try to be out there to educate the public. So if anyone is interested in us coming to their different organizations and doing those presentations or workshops or trainings, we're open to that as well.
As to add to that, or teen and young adult coordinator and also our children and youth coordinator are a part of the outreach program. So if schools need them to come in and speak to the children, they're available for different appointments for them to come and do presentations.
Okay. So you have your staff crew that are the in-house crew, and you have your volunteer crew.
Absolutely.
And the two work together, and you can kind of make some magic happen.
Yes, so we are all working together as a big unit. We are very closely knit, and with that, we are hoping to provide that exemplary service to our clientele. We want to ensure that we're creating that safe space, as Tammy said, but we also want to foster a healthy environment, because for most of them, their traumatic past and the environment that they're in may not be so healthy, but we want to mimic a healthy relationship just to show them the comparison.
All right, so there's a lot there. And then as far as, I'm seeing here social media campaigns that you have running, there's a bit about some information about those campaigns you want to share?
Absolutely. So we currently have our March Mondays, and that's where we focus on highlighting extraordinary women who have contributed to the field of domestic abuse. So our first post was for Estella Scott Roberts. As many of the persons know, she is our first executive director. We also highlighted the first person who created a domestic abuse shelter, and that was Erin Pisey.
She used to live in Cayman Brac.
No, she's international. So
She
internationally, she was the first person
She used to live in Cayman Brac.
Oh, she did.
Erin and I are friends, yeah.
Absolutely.
Erin and I are
Nice.
friends for about 10 years now. And
Awesome.
Erin used to live in Cayman Brac about 30 years ago, and she created the first shelter in London.
Oh,
it was
interesting.
It's an amazing story. What she what happened to her after she created the shelter
Mhm.
is just an amazingly
Yeah, I read a bit about that. It
terrifying.
It
What
is.
happened? What she went through.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's, but yeah, Erin Pitsey. She's still alive. Her son's actually. She used to live in Cayman Brac about 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Awesome.
And phenomenal lady. What she's done for the field.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's broadened her horizons, and she's still in advocacy, so that's amazing as well.
No, she is. Yeah. So you honored her as well as Stella. And who else have you honored?
We also highlighted Carlene Bramwell, and she is a very wonderful policy analyst, and she's just amazing with the work that she's done with gender inequality. We also are going to highlight our team as well as our the BPW for their amazing.
Okay, yes.
Yes, so the Business Professional Women of Grand Cayman Club. We are hoping to highlight them as well for their incredible role in the establishment of the Crisis Center, and also with their annual Silent Witness March.
Awesome. Okay, so 3.
Yes.
Women being honored, yeah.
Yes, and we're sharing different quotes just to empower the woman, but we're also encouraging persons to accelerate action. And that's every Thursday. We have a different action for them to get involved with. For first, you may want to donate to the Crisis Center, or you want to tag someone who inspires or motivates you, or just things like that. So we have different actions coming up for the rest of the month.
All right. Now, who sets the theme for Accelerate Action? Is that you, or is that there's an international body, or who's actually?
Yes. So it's International Women's Day Globe. That's the name of the company. So they send out the theme every year, and then we just piggyback on that, and then we share it internationally with everyone.
All right. So when it's all said and done, when March is all wrapped up, what do you hope to really walk away from March with as the Crisis Center? What are your overarching goals? You want to see something happen? The whole year is still ahead of you, 9 full months to really make whatever you want happen. What do you want to accomplish in March so that the rest of the year is, up here?
So again, we want to promote that level of awareness. We want to ensure that women in the society are being empowered and that their advancement is being catered to. But we also want to reach the general public and letting them know like gender inequality is not okay. Going forward for the rest of the year, we want everyone to just get involved with the different campaigns that we have going on. And this is just setting the pace for that. We'll have different campaigns throughout the year. We have Domestic Abuse Awareness Month coming up in October. But we also have our annual gala, or biannual gala, and this is one of our main fundraisers. So just getting involved with the Crisis Center and just supporting us on our cause.
Fantastic. Anything else you wanted to throw? Because you threw a lot of information at me. I couldn't get a lot of words. You have a lot of things that you're looking after. How about yourself? Because you have some programs that are on the works right now, Tammy, that are, you have a whole 9 months to really make happen. And here's your chance. The whole community is listening. You have candidates that are listening, politicians will be soon to be politicians are going to be, these are the ones that you're going to be knocking on their door saying, please help with some funding. What do you want to accomplish?
Well, what we want to accomplish is more recognition for the crisis center, because there are times when we get the ladies and they're saying, I didn't know this existed, and we're here 22 years now. So we want them to understand that Cayman has somewhere that you can come to and feel safe and be heard and be believed. And we want ladies to know that, sure, you haven't made this grand impact on your country or on the world, but you've impacted someone, and we want to empower everyone to understand that in your own small way, you make a difference. And that difference could just be listening to your friends, listening beyond what they're saying, looking at what they're not telling you. We want them to understand that, yes, we have 1 month to acknowledge that it's International Women's Month, but every month we're supposed to be empowering each other, be there to uplift, be there to just say, hey, you've got this every single day, because every single day some persons go through some struggle and you don't know. So just to say you're doing well for today, that's what we aim for. We are aiming for women to just understand that they have strength even when they don't feel like they have strength. They make a difference even when they don't see that they make a difference. And we also want the men to know that we see you, we hear you, and we're here for you, just like how we're here for the women. And in our future plans, we're hoping to build a larger shelter so that we can say, men, we have a safe space for you as well. And also opening it up to the LGBTQ plus community that you're safe. So we're not only trying to cater for women and children in a safe shelter, but to open it to let men know you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to worry about society saying you're weak. We understand that you can go through this as well. We acknowledge that you can go through it as well, and we believe that you would have gone through it as well.
That's an entire, I think, different conversation. I think it's a very noble pursuit to try to be that inclusive for all persons under the domestic violence umbrella. Very ambitious. To that point, I think I'm not speaking for all men on that one, but I think that comment you made of that weak comment of we believe you're not weak, that whole scenario. There is a common theme that men actually feel as though people don't care. It's not that they think they're weak. It's that people really don't care if the guy gets slapped. You can walk down the road and see a woman slap a guy, you'll probably laugh. You ain't gonna jump in and, break up that. There's that feeling of, like, how do you change that stigma? That's the one I want to find out. Like, how do you change that stigma where it ain't funny to slap a guy? It ain't funny to see a guy get slapped in public by his wife.
That's true.
All right?
I guess it all starts with just general educating. You have to be aware of what domestic abuse is and what it looks like, and understanding that it doesn't necessarily have focuses on one particular group of persons. It's anyone that is in an intimate partner relationship, or even within your familial relationships as well. So educating, knowing the different signs, and just understanding that men as well can be abused. And I feel,
say that again,
men as well can be victims of domestic abuse.
A quick comment on that.
Sure.
And it's to the line, because I've heard this comment made a few times, that men can be victims as well. And the concern I have with that comment is that it takes it puts the limit that women are the primary victims. Men can be. So they're a secondary class in this hierarchy of victimhood. When the statistics on domestic violence show that men are actually abused more than women. So when we say that word, men can be, that's the kind of line that we have to start looking at changing. Because it's not men can be. Men are more so, and there needs to be more resources and outlets for those men, because
absolutely
right now you're the only source, and right now your primary, rightfully so, but your primary area of concern is you have women who need help, and that's where you're focused, rightfully so. But
well, even though our emergency shelter is only open to women and children at the moment for this because of spacing issues that we have currently. But we have our Estella's Place walking, and that's also one of our programs, and that's the main point of access for men who want to access our services. And they get the same, except for the accommodation aspect, they get the same. They get to do we get referral advocacy. They provide them with the resources if they want to do NAU or anything like that, any legal aspect that they want to explore. That space is available for them.
Well, that's good.
We also have a lot of outreach initiatives going into the different organizations and just spreading awareness on the issue of domestic abuse. One primary thing that we do is the End It Now campaign, and this is where we've gone into the churches and we've spoken with the men's group that are there just to let them know, because one thing that we've seen is that many persons are not even aware that they're going through domestic abuse. So then
it's accepted. They've been conditioned to accept that that's a normal part of the way of life for men.
Exactly. So being able to share that information and just having them know that this is the scope of domestic abuse, and it doesn't necessarily mean that only women can be abused, right? It's also it's just a general scope.
Of course,
anyone can be abused. It doesn't discriminate.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I am happy to hear that there has been improvement on that front of being very, very quickly, because we have to go to a commercial break in 20 seconds.
Quickly, it is also understanding that domestic abuse does not just mean physical or verbal. You have immigration, you have financial.
Absolutely.
So for men and women to understand that it does not only have to be him or her hitting you. They can be doing anything that's controlling or trying to have power over you.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming. All the best with the month's initiatives. I know Radio Cayman is always here for you when you need to come on and share your goodwill with the community. And so I thank you so much. And I will say, as a man and someone who has spoken on this topic quite a bit, I appreciate this, that you have started to change the language that you're using around domestic violence. I think it's long overdue. I think you're doing the right thing now, starting to really make that language more inclusive so that men understand that there is a solution for things they might be going through.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again. On that note, we're going to go to our 1:30 commercial break. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with the Cayman Islands National Party. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money transfers to financial institutions, making life easier.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host for Talk Today on this very happy Wednesday. Very pleased to have in the studio the Cayman Islands' newest political party. Welcome to the studio, the Cayman Islands National Party, or welcome to Talk Today at least. Welcome everybody. If we can, let's do a quick round of introductions, starting to my left.
Michael Myles, I'm running for the constituency of Prospect.
And no stranger to Talk Today.
I'm not.
No. Usually you're supposed to be in, yeah, that is your seat.
I should own this.
You should be in this seat.
Yes, I should.
I'm Dawn Thomas, and I'm running for the constituency of Red Bay.
Red Bay?
Nicholas DaCosta running for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman.
All right. And I know we have some announcements we want to make sure we remind the community of for today or this week.
Yeah. Dawn and I are going to be having our district council our district meeting tonight, not district council, at 7. We are going to be right across from the Seafarers Hall, in the Beacon Furniture parking lot. So we want as many people to come down and hear us out. All of our candidates will be there as well. So folks want to come in and meet our candidates. This would be a phenomenal time to come out and meet our candidates.
Awesome. And then, as I know you mentioned, the entire party's come out to show support, but this is your particular district.
Yes, it's Red Bay and Prospect. Yep. Red Bay and Prospect meeting. So we're excited about that.
And I know tonight you're going to dive deeper into some of the topical issues for your particular districts. Are there any of those that you are comfortable sharing right now, or do you want to save some of those until tonight?
No, we are going to kind of go through, some of our immigration sort of education.
Sure.
I would call them solutions. We are really not here just to talk about the problems, because I think our entire country knows what our problems,
our
problems
we all
are.
See it. A toddler can look at the rounds.
So
they can go look at the mountain. They see it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't need to talk about cost of living because people are buried underneath it.
Yeah.
So
we need
our responsibility now is to try to ensure that people understand that there are solutions that we can, and it's not going to be a quick, it's not going to be this quick fix that everyone feels that they need to have, but it is going to take time. But I think we are the right party to do that.
Correct. Because it is a systemic issue, right? So you can't just fix one piece of the bubble and not look at the effects on the others. So, cost of living on its own sounds great and sounds like it's just a simple policy, but it isn't, because it's attributable to a number of other facets in terms of, mortgages and what is cost of living, food, health insurance in general. So, that's one big title to put out there, but there's so many factors that make up cost of living.
and you have to attack each one individually.
Correct.
And that's what makes it a really big challenge, because you're trying to tackle a topic that affects everybody, but has so many different layers you have to peel away to really get to find a solution.
Yep.
And you have to be able to work with everybody in the community, because it affects
Everybody.
Everybody.
And we're connected to an international body that's financially that's controlling a lot of those rates that are beyond your control. But you're having to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's but it's interesting the party. One of the things I really mentioned yesterday, I'll jump into the conversation of education in a second, is yesterday on the show we were talking with work about, they have their district days coming up for their work events coming up, and one of the comments that came out of the conversation was, when it's all said and done, after elections are all over, all of the candidates that are running for office, everyone can say they absolutely love Cayman. No one's gonna ever question you love Cayman. No one's gonna question your integrity, your work ethic.
Except for Nicholas, he's just loving Cayman Brac and love Cayman.
Well, yes, for sure. We have to put Cayman Brac first,
They're a country all beside itself there.
You said it. I didn't say it.
That's how it comes across.
They would agree.
It's the capital of Cayman Brac over there. Not there.
It's the capital of Cayman.
Yep,
future capital of Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
Yep, that's right.
Wait till he gets the port fixed. That'll be definitely
another cost of living issue.
Off we are. There goes the bomb. Here we go. But I was mentioning the after when it's all said and done, when everybody, all 60 some odd candidates are done, and all the politics and all the parties are said, and someone's in office, it's still going to require the collaborative effort of everybody that is running for office right now,
including the private sector.
Including the private sector. But if you're running for office, it's not the 19 that win.
Nope.
It's all 60 something that still have to, and whoever wins is going to have to work with all those other stakeholders that didn't get in.
Yep. Absolutely.
In a friendly maybe too liberal a word, but collaborative environments, and that collaborative party politics is what I think is it's not independence, it's not parties. Y'all got to come really together with the other.
I think it's just collaborative effort across the board in everything that we do. And when you look at the Cayman Islands National Party, it's not just the 12 candidates. We're passionate about certain issues. We are knowledgeable about certain issues. But we want the input of everybody. That's why what we are speaking of and our solutions, our proposed solutions to making Cayman better for everybody, isn't just ideas, not just talk. We've been working for months, not just with the 12 of us, but with other people in the community, the private sector. Everyone has lent their hand and their expertise into finding actual solutions for our problems.
And I think you'll find that some of the solutions that we bring to the table have never been brought to the table before. We've been looking at new ways of solving systemic issues. So,
I like that, 'cause I think that's the key. Is I think everybody knows there's a lot of change coming. So the change, whatever is coming solution-wise, has to be a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at it.
And that's why the Cayman Islands National Party stands out, I think, in that regard, because we've sat at the table using all of our backgrounds, but looking at problems from a new perspective and thinking about the strategic solution for that problem. As we talked about earlier, it's not just fixing one core issue. It is definitely looking at the ripple effect of fixing that issue and where it lies. We find that often a number of solutions that are planned that come to the table, they are very much in a silo, and they fail to think about the downstream effects of those solutions. And so then it doesn't, the solution doesn't really feel like a solution. It just feels like a Band-Aid fix.
Very well said. And I think if I could add one more thing, because I know, Mike, you want to talk about the education side here. The solution is also an evolving solution.
Correct.
The protection law from the 60s made a ton of sense. All that stuff made a ton of sense in the 60s. Every law of the 60s always makes sense the day of that law. The next day, that law stops making as much sense.
Correct.
And 50 years on, that law starts looking very archaic. Where you're going, it doesn't work. It's not fit for purpose anymore.
No.
And the law is supposed to evolve with politicians, right? Which is where you come to the table.
Well, it also evolves with people, right? One of the key ingredients that you missed out earlier, yes, it doesn't stop at the 19 folks who are going to be elected, but what we seem to miss out of the equation is the 65 or 80,000 people that are bouncing in and out of this country on a regular basis. We don't cater to them, and I think that that's where we want to separate ourselves. Nicholas alluded earlier that for the last year we've been working with the private sector and with other organizations, whether it's here or overseas, just to try to consult with and gaining a better understanding on what common sense solutions we can put in place. It's not going to cost the government $1 million every time that, we sit down and talk to someone, right? So that's that's going to be a major thing for us. How do we continue to spread across different sectors, different industries, and certainly from departments to ministries? How do we bring all of these people together with the mindset that we're doing it on behalf of the Caymanian people?
Yep.
Right? When whatever we do, we have the Caymanian people in mind. I don't actually do anything, even in my current business, without the young people that I serve at the forefront of what we do. And I think that that's been the missing ingredient for me over the last 30 years.
Well put. There's so much to unpack, right? And I know there's a lot you have to go over because you have an agenda we want to definitely get through on today's show. Let's go to a very, very short commercial break. When we come back, let's actually dive in, because this education one is going to be a big ticket item come this next election.
Yeah.
Back to more talk today, right after this.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
The 6:15 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your host for this Wednesday on Talk Today. Again, thank you to OC for holding on the fort yesterday. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. And in studio, the Cayman Islands National Party. We're talking about unemployment and education before the break. And so let's dive right into that education topic. Who wants the hot potato first?
You want to start first, Nick, or you want me to?
You can go ahead, Michael. I know that this is your passion. This is your passion.
This is Mike. In all fairness, Mike.
Why don't
People
we-
are my passion.
This is yours.
People
education
is his
education is important.
system is broken.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that the education system is broken.
How is it broken?
It doesn't serve the needs of our children. Predominantly, we have 16 schools, and only 4 of them have a good rating. The other 12 have satisfactory or barely a satisfactory rating. So that's a fail. But if you take that down even for the levels, and you just look at the primary school statistics, when you leave from grade 6 to 7, there's a 26% pass rate.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good statistics. Take that into high school, people leaving school. And these are people, it fluctuates between, which report I read, between 38 to 47%. Now, I think it's safe to say that it's broken and it's failing our kids. And it's something that needs to be addressed.
So when we say it is broken, I don't think anybody's going to disagree.
Yeah.
There's clearly a noticeable problem, not just with Cayman school system. This isn't on a global scale. There's a non-fit-for-purpose setup for the way our schools are operating that doesn't fit for the way our kids are learning. How do you fix it in Cayman? What are the steps you take to address it at the primary school, high school? I think tertiary we can leave alone for a second, because unless we fix the first 2, we don't get the third one.
I'm going to let Michael take the primary, but can I just say before that, I think we need to implement early development and early education. We need to make it mandatory to go into primary schools. And then I'll let Michael take it from here.
So early development was for like 3 toddlers age.
Toddler age. Because I think a number of problems start there. They're not coming to grade 1 with their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s. Some kids are, some kids are not. So already they're starting slightly behind. So we should make it mandatory that, they have a certain standard of knowledge before reaching sort of grade 1. In the best way we can.
Okay.
I'm just going to pick up from where Dawn have left off, because again, while I love education because I think it's where everything starts with all of us. I have come from a very long tradition of phenomenal people that taught me and poured into me and did a lot of really cool things. It's the reason why I went to college. I never had an expectation of going to college. And a lot of it was just based that in my environment, no one actually went to college. We either went to prison or we went to work for the government. So I never had an expectation of going to college. What we have done over the last 30 years is that we have said to our early childhood education and our primary education that you can get all the leftovers. We haven't really put a lot of money in that. When you look at what the rest of the world is doing, we have flown people from New Zealand to the UK. We have flown people as far, I've went as far as Jersey and the Channel Islands. We have flown people all around the world. We know what education looks like. We have some of the best teachers in our system. We have some of the best consultants that we've bought. We've done every sort of report that tells us how to fix education. The spend is not the issue. What the issue is right now is the priority. Our best teachers, our best spend have to be from exactly what Dawn just said, from early childhood to year 6. If we are not spending the best money in that area, it does not matter what John Gray, Clifton Hunter, or SciFec does. It's still going to be failing all the way through. You can't catch up a kid after he's failed at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old. And that's what's happening in our country today. Let's go back further than what she just said.
Please.
Right? Out of the 16 schools, 12 of them satisfactory. I've looked at all of the inspection reports. Some of them are coming from failure to satisfactory, so I applaud the government for at least doing that bit. But let's look at the early childhood centers. They're also in worse shape. So when you have 10 early childhood centers that can't get a good on their inspection report, and then all of those youngsters are transitioning into our public schools, already behind. Could you imagine the disaster that we're creating for high schools? Now look at the disaster that we're also creating for the private and public sector in terms of workforce. So if they're not scratching up from early childhood to primary schools to high school, that 1,000 people that sits on our ESO report, that's understated, my friend. Because I have, like I've told you, I have 40 young people at my center right now, all graduated from the public schools, all unemployed, and the majority of them who've had employment could not keep employment.
So the question, so you mentioned the 40, is where I'm struggling is to understand the connection between the early childhood centers and those 40. And we look at some Scandinavian countries where we look at schools starting at age 7. We look at expat schools or private schools here in Cayman where expatriate kids are required to go to.
Sure.
Who generally there are some performance measures which are better than our public schools. Not all, but some. Not all of those kids had amazing early childhood education. Where is the connection between early childhood education? Are you saying that those 40 kids would have been better off today had they not been home with their mom and instead been in early childhood education centers?
I think what we need to do, we have done some really cool things in 2016 when we revised the education law. We put in early childhood within the law. So we have at least a curriculum within early childhood centers. We have said in the majority of early childhood centers, if not all of them, you need to have one qualified teacher, whereas prior to 2016, anybody could come to this country, throw it on a preschool, and call it early childhood center. And that, like, they were daycares.
Well, we have
right?
homeschools that we have homeschool. I guess what I'm trying to understand, we have a large homeschool, a growing homeschool body here because they are frustrated with the school system.
Correct.
Yes.
They're deliberately avoiding and opting away from early childhood education. They're literally starting and saying, we're never going into that system. What I understand you're saying is you're saying the solution is to get in system earlier as opposed to being out of system. Because if the stats hold true that early childhood education is the problem,
to each their own,
that
right?
homeschool should actually be, homeschool students should be performing worse if early childhood education is the source of the problem.
No, homeschool education, the teacher-to-child ratio is completely different, isn't it, in a homeschool environment?
Absolutely.
The attention is higher.
Absolutely.
The accountability is higher.
Absolutely.
So I think to say it's a direct correlation to early development, and I don't think that's a fair connection. I think what Michael is saying is that you have where early development is there's usually a classroom of kids.
Sure.
And the teacher-to-child ratio is less. And we're saying some of those teachers, or they're not even teachers, because they're only required to have one.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Which is a problem.
Which means that they're not
Major
getting
problem.
they're not getting to the standards they need to get to be acceptable to at year one. And I've seen that.
I agree with that. No, I agree. I agree. The current setup of the early childhood education model does not fuel productive kindergarten grade 1.
Correct.
But
And
there are other models of early childhood education which we just referred to as homeschool.
Absolutely.
Staying at home with mom.
Correct.
Or dad.
And the
or
average
aunt,
person
or grandma.
can't do that. So
Hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
But go back to
But
the
there
point
are other
of-
models, yes.
There are other models.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What we know is that the current model of ECCE into the primary school system, there is a disconnect between those two.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a problem everyone can look at and go, okay.
Correct.
And what you're saying is the solution is we need to get more teachers into
We
the
have to
system.
get better, like we have to get qualified teachers. Like what I'm
Sure.
advocating
Okay.
for is
That
that
makes sense.
our
Yeah,
best
absolutely.
teachers have to be in early childhood education, right? And therefore we have to help the preschools because the preschools are businesses, right? And at the end of the day, if they're not making money, they're certainly just going to hire talent that are not as skillful. They simply just need bodies. We don't need that anymore.
No,
What I'm saying for a country that has $1.5 billion in revenue coming in and certainly government expenditure, we have to do a lot better there, right?
Agreed.
Because those kids aren't going anywhere, right? They're staying right here in our country. Now, the difference is that we can spend that money. We're already spending a lot of money on education, period. I'm simply saying, let's stop building buildings and let's start focusing on young people and how they develop. Similar, getting back to your sort of comparison with homeschool, right? Homeschool kids, because again, I work with a number of homeschool families as well, and what they're doing is that their activities look different. It is not an onslaught of education all the time. They're mixing it with a number of different activities throughout the day. They take breaks throughout the day. And as Dawn rightfully said, right, it's paced, right? It's not coming at you constantly. High school didn't work for me because high school was coming at me so quickly. My brain couldn't keep up with high school, so I didn't do well in high school, but I did well in college. Why? College was at my pace, right? I didn't have 8 hours of classes a day. I had 3 hours of classes a day. I can actually think about what I was actually learning rather than going through this process of rehearsing things, right? And I think that that's the difference with what our group are going to be pushing and moving forward. We're reallocating funds from education. Education needs the funding that they get, but that funds have to be at the start, not at the end.
I think I couldn't agree more. I think there's a major disconnect. And again, that's not just here in Cayman as a lot of policies from other jurisdictions. And I think that might be a big problem as well, because Cayman is not like other jurisdictions. It's a very multicultural jurisdiction. It's very small. It's very closed off. Adopting models from bigger jurisdictions like Canada doesn't fit the purpose of Cayman in many ways. But the absence of more now there's programs like Arts Festival, all the music programs that are starting to really get funding and come together. Sports programs are doing a lot more. But it's such a gap, because you're right. Homeschool groups can go play basketball for a whole 2 hours, take a nap, and then do math. You don't have that luxury. You have to go from math of 30 minutes, 2 minutes to change your clothes in the bathroom with 50 other kids in the room, then rush off the math class and hope you don't trip along the way and get teased, right?
So let's let's throw in a couple of different challenges.
Let's hold that thought. Let's throw in a 2 p.m. headline news, or Miss Susan is going to throw something at us. On that note, let's go to our 2 p.m. headline news. Back with more talk today, right after this.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. Education officials are urging parents to apply early to secure placement in government schools. The Department of Education Services says the applications are being accepted online now through June 30th for the 2025-2026 academic year. You can find out more about the program offerings and online application process at schools.edu.ky. Priority is given to Caymanian children. In international headlines, Pakistani forces were in a tense standoff today with hundreds of militants holding about 250 people hostage on a train they had hijacked in the remote southwest the day before. The security forces held off from full-out battles as militants wearing vests loaded with explosives barricaded themselves inside the train with the hostages. U.S. inflation may have cooled a bit last month, but it could be a short reprieve, as President Donald Trump's tariffs are widely expected to keep prices elevated in the coming months. Today, the Labor Department is expected to report that in February, the Consumer Price Index rose 2.9% from a year ago, that according to economists surveyed by FactSet. That would be down slightly from 3% in January and the first drop in 5 months. It fell to a 3.5-year low of 2.4% in September. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market. Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949 949-789-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Cayman airline for Easter.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, Raymond Singh hosting Talk Today today. I'm still going to get the wording right. Please again have in studio the Cayman Islands National Party tackling the big topic of education, but conscious of time being a factor. Would you like to stay on the topic of education, or do you want to segue into one of the other big issues? Because there's a lot of issues that you're trying to tackle.
I think we would be better served, since we've gone this long, to continue focusing on education.
Sure.
And perhaps talk about another area that needs improvement, our TVET education. Currently, we have TVET offerings after children have left high school.
Mm-hmm.
When they haven't made their passes, we send them to CIFEC. They're given other opportunities. They're given an alternative route. Perhaps then they go on to UCCI and do a TVET course. They go to Inspire Cayman Training and do a TVET course. But I think what Michael can definitely elaborate on, and Don as well, is that we need to start looking at incorporating that sooner.
Yep.
Michael holds the brilliant philosophy and the party as well, in that TVET education should start way early, from early years.
Yeah.
And also then, if you're not gaining your academic passes, you attain a certification upon graduation from high school, not a level 1 diploma that basically says you completed your years, your required years, but you have something in hand that you can go out, because the Cayman Islands National Party desires for our people to have an education system that supports employment opportunities in the end. You're going through a system to educate you, but to have a better life. And to do that, you need the employment opportunities.
Yep.
Not everybody is going to be a lawyer, an accountant, a business owner, but you have really bright individuals who can match a red wire and know that the red wire is hot, not to touch it.
And they make $100,000.
And still going to make $100,000 a year. You have plumbers. I had to call a plumber out the other day and to change something in my house, $500 later, for a simple thing. I could have probably learned to do it, but we have those individuals that have dedicated their lives to doing that, and they attain that from early on.
Yeah.
So why aren't we doing that from early on?
So when you say early on, how early are we saying? Is it high school, early high school
Year
years?
five.
Year 5. So like, what's that grade?
Yep.
10 years old? 11 years old?
Yeah,
10 or 11.
10, 11.
Yeah.
You're double digits. You're
Absolutely.
hands-on
right?
training.
We need to expose them, just like Nick said.
Yeah.
Look at the industries that we have. Right, Dawn is an IT specialist.
Yes.
She understands what that looks like. Why aren't our kids understanding what AI is from 10, 11 years old?
But is that a government school situation, or is that a parent conversation?
You know something? I think it's a both.
Okay.
I think we certainly need to do a lot more work in educating parents, just like Nicholas just said.
Yeah.
There's $100,000 that plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians, heavy equipment operators, contractors, developers. When you look at the construction, just one sector. Because let's face it, TVET isn't about construction. And I try to explain that to parents. If you get an accountant certification without a degree, that's a TVET program. A nurse is a TVET program, right? there's so many different qualifications across the spectrum that fits in that hub of that. Why can't we just offer that? Why are we allowing these youngsters to leave school with simply just a level 1 diploma that says nothing, right? So they come to me and all of a sudden, after years of being unemployed, and they're saying, but sir, I don't have, like, he's asking me for heavy equipment certification. Let's get you that, right? That takes 3 months. Let's get you that so we can get you on a heavy equipment or an IT certification to put you where you want to be. Why can't we do that in year 5 where we're peaking that sort of, wow, you mean I could do that? Why aren't we saying to the hotel industry, our kids could be supervisors, managers, and executives? Why are we always talking about housekeeping or serving, right? Like, there are so many things in the hospitality sector. There's accounting, there's human resources. Like I said, there's leadership that's there. But every time leaders sit down, do you not just hear them talk about, well, you could be a server. Yeah, you could start there, but I want to be the hotel owner as well.
Sure.
To guide me on how I get there. We are not really expanding our children's mentality on what the possibilities are.
Right, and we're not saying to classify them in an area and then they can't change.
Correct.
Because as they grow and they learn and they expand, maybe I'll do something in accounting this week, and maybe it is electrical next week, or you're not in that time frame. But you know what I mean? They can then explore different alternatives.
Absolutely.
And then start to hone their skills. Maybe they're multi-talented by the time they leave.
We just had Rotary on early in the show, and they were talking about the science fair coming up, right? And the importance of all
STEM,
6 different fields of science. That
absolutely,
right?
That we need in our country.
Yeah. So is the suggestion then is to bring in, I guess maybe taking the word TVET out of it, the TVET programs and into year 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
So into the school itself, retrofitting some of the school buildings to actually allow for the kind of shop class. We called them shop classes when I was a kid.
I had it as a kid.
Yes, do you call it shop classes?
Oh, yeah, we did.
I called it shop
I
classes.
did metal shop. I did wood.
You had to do woodworking.
I did
carpentry.
Woodwork, yeah. I did it as a kid. I did home.
I did jewelry making.
Yeah. Listen, you're all making yourself look old now.
I still use the stool that I made, okay?
Yeah. I made a cabinet. I mean, there's lots of different things when we could do different. It's about exposure right now for our young people. I remember wanting to be a fire officer because my father was a fire officer, right? And then he would take me in planes, and I was like, wow, my God, like I could be a pilot and all of this sort of stuff. We stopped letting our kids dream. If you we buy our kids Tonka trucks. And then when they're 12 and 13 and 14 years old, we tell them that that's not the career for them. But we give them those Tonka trucks to play with, and they are fascinated by that, right? Yep. They have the biggest imaginations, and yet we take it away from them. Say, well, no. You shouldn't work hard.
No.
You need to go be an accountant or a lawyer.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have a lot of kids coming to me saying, but I don't want to do that. I want to actually be a diver. So we are giving them that. Let's put you under the water because we used to own that at one point, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm excited about the possibility. Awesome. What I want to do is get parents excited about the possibilities of their children being whatever they want. That's all I want to do. Give them the freedom to do whatever they want. You want to be an accountant and a plumber at the same time? Let's do that, right? Because by day, you could be an accountant, and by the weekend, you're fixing someone's toilet and still making $100,000. Why are we not doing that? That's exciting stuff.
So I love the passion because there's clearly a passion. And your Inspire Cayman background, well known, the work you've done in the past, right? And the skate park as well. You mentioned the leaving school with a diploma that shows some level of competency in this field. When I was growing up, we had a year we called it OAC back in the day. It was year 13. So essentially, once you graduated high school, it was equivalent of your first year of college. So it was basically a trade school year, what we kind of look at it as, right? So it was paid for because you'd have to pay for school, because it was paid for as your high school fees, and it was applied courses that would apply to your first year of university courses or hands-on courses, so such as that heavy metal, heavy trucking, whatever it is. That would be the year you would do it. You're 18 years old, you can legally do it. We can go and do this course after high school, but before you go to tertiary. So it's like a gap year, but it's not a gap year. Are those kind of the directions you're looking? Are you looking
Absolutely.
at?
Absolutely. We hit the nail on the head.
So that kind of like.
That's exactly what we're looking at.
All right.
But
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Earlier.
didn't read your manifesto, and I didn't help.
Here's the think tank, right?
That's the think tank, absolutely.
I think this conversation is going down the lines of exactly what we discuss as a party when we
good.
meet.
Okay.
We're not just thinking of doing the same old, same old. We're thinking about how can we essentially fix the system that's broken, but invigorate our kids, give them dreams, give them aspirations, build them up in a positive way, support them, and allow them to do as many things it is that they want to do, but start teaching them early. That is the simple plan. Or training them early.
Sure, no, absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we had in early childhood education is we say it as far as a school body or a school building, but it's not. It's
No.
making sure that kids at a very young age have the basic skill sets to graduate to the next level, whether it's primary school, high school, or political candidate,
I think
whatever that
that's why
level
they
is.
also did the mechanic shop one that was in there. I think which school was it that had the mechanics?
Well, Superior Auto had their mechanic school at the same time you had the Inspire Cayman training, right? Because you were the only two groups that were doing that level.
We are, and now we have Cayman Career Academy that's also doing other things in makeup and spa and different things like that. So it's a mixture, right? Because let's face it, on every street corner now, other than liquor store, we have a spa or a nail salon or something. Well, who's dominating that sector? It's not us, right? So
very true.
Very true. At the end of the day, why are they pouring into our country if they're not making money? No one is staying in one of the richest or most expensive countries in the world if they're not coming here to make money doing that stuff.
I think let's also be fair. I don't think we're only thinking trade schools, so I don't mean to diminish anything or anyone in that regard, but we're definitely wanting to go down the road because this is a tech world and it is tech industry, and we've talked about there's self-driving cars coming in the not so far future.
So I don't have to deal with traffic.
So you don't
Or has to deal with traffic. Got it. I'm caught up.
Pretty much that's how it's going to go. Yes.
We're going to
You can take a nap.
I
can take a nap.
But there's AI technology that we could be exposing them to now. I mean, I've seen young kids on a tablet. They know how to operate better than their parents, right?
Oh yeah.
So they have the capacity to learn things early. So we should get them into tech early as well. New tech, emerging tech. We shouldn't just limit them to games. I mean, although games are getting quite sophisticated now, I see as well on tablets. Right.
Absolutely.
But get them into it quite early as well. Just expose their minds to a number of things. And I think that's what, as a party, we're wanting to do is, start to really think about expanding our kids' futures.
On that note, we do have to go to our last commercial break. Let's go very quickly. When we come back, we'll jump further into the National Party Manifesto. Back to more talk today, right after this.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, and just about wrap up our show today. Again, please have in studio the Cayman Islands National Party. We are going to go a few minutes later because I took away a bit of your time at the start of the show. Just a handful of minutes so I didn't get too much trouble. As far as the rest of, because we have a lot to tackle, and I know we took a lot for education, but you want to talk about the transition between immigration and education. Let's walk through what you mean by this.
And you want to go?
I'm sure.
Hot potato.
I seem to be in the hot seat today. Usually it's Nicholas.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I'm
very
giving it up today.
He's very quiet over there.
I know. It's quite simple. I think every year we know how many kids are graduating from our schools.
Sure.
We know how many kids are coming back from colleges. These are statistics that we are well versed in, and we know. We also know which work permits are coming up for renewals. And I think one of our ideas is having the education teams and the immigration teams or the work teams start to marry those two together so we can start to line our kids up, making sure they're well, assuming we've tackled some of the issues in the education system that we've talked about today, and start to marry them together because what we should have is job opportunities for them at day one. We should know, we be able to time
From high school or from tertiary?
From
both.
From
both.
From both.
If you need a job, we should be able to find a way to link you with that job. There's no excuse why there's no jobs available. If you're willing to work, if you have the competency, the training,
that personal competency,
and I mean it's important. Right now we have our college students, if we can speak up to the college students, they have to register with work.
Sure.
Whenever they're beginning to wind down and graduating and to get their disbursement, they have to register with work. What does that do for them?
Correct.
When I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2013, it took me 2.5 years to find a job. I was unemployed for 2.5 years after graduating. Here at home, I applied to government, I applied to the private sector. I was getting nothing and nowhere.
Where'd you get your scholarship from, Nick?
Cayman Islands government.
There you go.
Okay, so the disconnect then being, and so back to Don's point, you're trying to create a system where from start there's a plan for 3-year-old Joey coming to the school system. That in 20 years, theoretically, whoever the next government in 20 years is, can look at that same plan and go, okay, Joey's now 20. He's coming back from school in 2 years. This is actually the perfect
Maybe
world.
not starting at 3, but maybe starting 3 years out from graduation,
Where you
knowing
can
where
actually
you're
start looking.
when your students are starting to dive into a sector or a skill set, and starting to make sure that you're getting them to the levels you need to get them with at graduation, or if they're not going on to universities, then making sure that we marry those skill sets then to the job market.
We have to. Okay. This is the Cayman Islands, and we need to make way for our Caymanians.
Correct.
Okay, so to that point, the question I'm going to ask is, and this go back to that conversation with work yesterday, the personal accountability factor. So Nick, you took 2.5 years, but you worked those 2.5 years looking for it. That was your work.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't the search.
Yeah, no, I was.
You put in the time. You put in the effort.
I still have all the records of all the jobs I applied to. I even spent one year on the nice cleanup program on the side of the road. I'm not afraid to work.
So that personal accountability, you had it, right?
Yep.
So as far as from your perspective, as the Cayman Islands National Party, what is your speech then to those who are not putting in the work? So take the elements off the government side for a second, because your policy is for those people. You mentioned the 80,000 people. What is your message then to them if you're coming into office and you're going to create these pathways, make the process more palatable for them? What is your message then to them?
I think our message needs to be to them is that, and I think the reason why we've gotten to that point is that our people have lost hope. They've seen the cycle repeat over and over again, and I think that's why the Cayman Islands National Party is so important. We're here unified as a team, unity, in the hopes of creating prosperity for all Caymanians. We want an education system that works for Caymanians. We want immigration reform that works for all Caymanians. Everything that we desire and are seeking to change should benefit all Caymanians, because we're not going to make any decision without first questioning, is this right? Will this benefit our Caymanian people? And that's how we need to approach everything. And if a person doesn't have that drive to go and look, it's because the system has failed them too many times. And they've seen the cycle go over and over. So I think that is where we need to make that spark of hope come back to life.
Nick is right.
and show them that we are working towards change. We will bring about positive change for our people, and then find the root problem. We spoke earlier that cost of living is this big cloud, but it's different things that are feeding into the cloud. That loss of motivation, we need to find the root of why that loss of motivation is there and fix it.
What if the problem is actually within the school systems that you haven't identified yet?
I
What
think
if
it is.
the-
I mean, I can tell you, it's not just a school system, but it's also a disconnect with homes, right? I mean, it's in order for us to win at this, we cannot forget that we have at least 40,000 Caymanians in our country, and they have to be part of this process. We have at least 8 to 10,000 school children. They have to be part of this process. We do not have 1 million Caymanians in our country. We are only budgeting for 40,000 because the rest of the 40,000 is on a work permit. And while I love them all and they make a sizable contribution to our country, they're really not my specific priority. My priority right now is making sure that every Caymanian child, along with my team, is ensure has a job upon graduation, or at least has some level of training upon graduation to take on a career.
Has a job or has the opportunity to get a job?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think it's both. I believe, and this is just from my workings between social services and now education, right? For the last 35 years, I rarely have found a young person that says, you know something, I prefer to just sit at home, smoke weed all day and don't do nothing, just play video games. That's rare, right? It is rare that you find in
because the conversation yesterday with that it's not that rare.
I'm telling you, it's rare.
No, it's not that rare
think that
because
people are frustrated.
Okay. So I agree. No,
right?
I agree.
I think people are frustrated with the process.
As Nick said, they lack hope. We've seen the recent story in the article that was shared recently with the lady that attempted 200 times to get a successful job.
Yep.
Do you think she has a lot of hope left?
No, I don't.
So
I don't
think a lot of the
reason
kids
I'm
are
not
the
questioning
same,
at all,
and I
absolutely.
hear them and
agree.
I understand them. They say the same thing. They've lost all hope. They don't even try sometimes. And that sort of despair, that needs to be, we need to tackle that because that's mental health issues. And that's why that's on the rise.
And it's systemic. And it's,
So we could go.
So how do you fix it in a 4-year term?
You're not going to fix it in a 4-year term. It didn't happen in a 4-year term, right? And this is what I tell my constituents, right? This is not going to be a quick fix process, right? We need to prioritize the things right now and really kind of stem some of the bleeding. The bleeding right now is certainly making sure that our education system is accessible to all, including those with behavior issues, mental health issues, and learning issues, and that the labor market is robust to absorb our young people because they're trained and they're transitioning better. You know, I want to bring a point up because just going back to what Nick's conversation was about when he got out of school, my 2 daughters were schooled by this country. Between the both of them, between education and the Ministry of Tourism, may have spent almost $500,000 in their education. I paid $0 for their education. They both had full scholarships, right? When Gabby came back, my oldest, like Nickolas, couldn't get a job. Had I not been in education, she'd have packed her stuff up and went back to the U.S. because she has dual citizenship. I kept her here. Now, she would, like Nick, she had a bit of luck. She was only unemployed for about 6 months. But what if she didn't have me advocating for her, right? She finally got a job and she registered just like Nick a year before she came back because it was part of her scholarship to register with the NWDA a full year. That was the only how she was able to get her money. Now, do you know how many kids like him come back and have gone through the exact same pain? I talk to them every single day. Now, let's take away the degree. Because the spend with education and tourism is almost $30 million. The spend on island when it comes to UCCI is a lot of money as well, because what about those kids that are here, right, that we are not prepared for? If we don't do a better coordination and break the silos down, that labor can influence the courses that our kids do in education, we are failing at this. It doesn't matter how many jobs you create in the system. If our youngsters don't know the skill sets that they need to require to get those jobs, you're always going to have an individual like Don who runs several businesses said, you don't actually fit into my business plan because I need skills. That's what employers are asking me for. when I'm preparing young people, they're not just asking for, can you drive a crane? They're asking, can you show up for work on time? Can you actually dress the part? Can you actually speak to customers and not, be, disrespectful? Right? They're asking for soft skills.
But to go back to your original question, is it solvable in 4 years? And I say, as Michael said, absolutely not. But what we can do different is we can actually create a plan.
Yes. Yep.
A large-scale plan. Where we have failed them is what we have failed to come up with the plan. And I'm a project manager at the core, and most people know this. I manage projects of all sizes. What is the strategy? What is your mission? What are you trying to accomplish? What are your milestones? What are the tasks? What are the actions? Who has to deliver them? When do they have to be delivered by? How long is this going to take us? And we just plan it out. This will accomplish in 6 months. This will be 12. This will be 18 months. And we just slowly chip away at a systemic problem. Yep. And I think that's what we're saying as a party is that, and as I said, this isn't going to be solved in 4 years, but at least we know what we would have accomplished in 4 years.
And if any party or any individual is telling you that they're going to fix all of this stuff in a 4-year term, they're lying.
No.
Yep. They're lying to you, because I can tell you that. They simply want to vote. I want people to vote for me, but I want people to be realistic about what this is going to be. It's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end, but we got you as Caymanians. That's the difference with our party. I'm not here to just tell people a spin-off story, right? I want people to have a clear understanding that we're going to rub shoulders together and we have to do this together. And there has to be some level of patience, because there's only one pot of money, right? We don't have, we're not I tell my prospect constituents all the time, we're not the U.S. We're not printing money every time we go into a deficit, right? We actually have to look at how we reallocate funds in order to make this work. So what is priority is exactly what Dawn is saying. We have to have a better plan, because and that plan has to be shared with our people for that contribution to be made. And then we need to move the plan forward rather than sitting down and talking about it for 4 years. Or here's what the next thing that we do. We build a lot of stuff because we need to show you that we've done something in 4 years. So we spent $70 million in a school, we spent $10 million in a park, and then all of a sudden people are saying, well, I guess they did something. Well, we haven't fixed anything.
No.
I appreciate everything. What you all are trying to do, what every candidate is trying to do, is trying to find a way to address systemic problems, right? We can see them, we're trying to address them.
Yep.
One thing I will say from this conversation, because one thing I don't really appreciate, and it's not for you guys, or guys and girls, ladies, is we say the word government. Government applies, people tend to use the word government as this holistic title that encompasses everybody, when it's really segmented into very specific parts of roles. We've thrown education under the bus today. What we've thrown under the bus, really, or what your conversation has been about, is the current policies that are in place.
Correct.
It's not the civil servants.
No.
Mark Ray is a very good friend of mine. I have a ton of
And
respect for
mine
the
as
premier,
well. And
and I
mine.
have a ton of respect for the premier and the minister and all of the factors. Well, I don't think what you're all saying, and I want to make sure this is clear. You're not saying education Cayman system is completely broken. It's just scrap it and get rid of it.
Nope,
Because
we can't.
We have kids that are getting fed. We do have kids that are safe in a school. Let's be very grateful you don't have kids walking through schools right now with a gun and shooting around, right?
Sure.
We have teachers that actually do care.
Yep.
Yes.
We have safeguard
And great
systems,
teachers.
safeguard systems that are in place. Governments, the civil service, and the policies put in place by previous have worked to a degree.
Correct.
What you're looking at is it's no longer as fit for purpose.
It's not.
And we have to start making some changes. Wherever those changes are, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we weren't gunslinging today, and I'm
No,
hoping
and
it
I
didn't
know.
come across that way. We're no way.
Sometimes it does. And I know you guys don't mean it. But
No, we don't mean it that way. And if it came across that way, for that we apologize. It was very much about saying that there are improvements that are needed, and it has to be done in collaboration with those people, those same various people you spoke from. Their ideas. These are our ideas coming into the table. This is our party coming to the table, but we're not getting in and railroading you with our. We're going to come to the table. We're going to sit down with the people that are in their positions. We're going to have the conversations. We're going to exchange idea, and collectively, we're going to come up with the plan. This is our ideas. The plan is not yet formed.
Got it. Yeah. So, closing thoughts, last few minutes. I know we want to recap. You have a meeting tonight. Let's quickly, for those who missed it, you have the meeting tonight. Where is it at? What time?
It's by Beacon Furniture across from Seafarers Hall. It's Michael and I. He's for Prospect. I'm Red Bay. And so we just want people to come out and listen.
7?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yep.
Yep.
It was a misprint in the compass, but we got it right.
We got it right. 7 p.m.
7
Right
p.m.
here,
7
Radio
p.m.
KMN.
tonight.
That's back.
Come on out here. We're going to go through a lot of topics.
Yep.
We're going to share a lot of stories, and we just want to meet people and so they can hear what we're about, what the party's about.
And our team is going to be there. All the members of our team is going to be there. So I mean, if you are not from Prospect or Red Bay and you are from Georgetown Central and you want to meet your candidate, come on out.
Come on out. And that's what we've been doing this entire week. We've started off in Bodden Town on Monday, and we're continuing around the different constituencies and different districts. Tonight is Red Bay and Prospect. Tomorrow is Cayman Brac. Friday is Georgetown. Saturday is East End. And then we close out on the 22nd of March next weekend at 5 o'clock on Compass Green. We're having our party rally. So this week is a big week, but then next weekend we all come together one more time. The entire country can come together. And we celebrate the new way forward that the Cayman Islands Party is charting through unity, prosperity, and hope.
And is there a website that you have dedicated information for?
Yes, nationalparty.ky. All the information is there. Our candidate profiles are there. Our contact information details are there. So you can visit the website, nationalparty.ky, and contact any of us through that website.
Yep. And all of our phone numbers and contact details, as Nick said, is also there.
Mhm.
But what I also want to point out, because
Very quickly,
I get asked this question all the time about this manifesto, right? Like we've all seen manifestos for the last 30 years. We don't just want to deliver a manifesto. For the last, I would say, 6 months, what we've been doing is research within each of our communities to see what the needs are. Our manifesto is always going to be based on what people want and the needs of those communities. So we do have one come in. It is going to be delayed until after March 22nd, but probably the first week of April, I would say. We are going to be pushing out something electronically to everyone.
Sure.
And we're going to be printing some paper of that as well, but it is coming. So I just want to let folks know, be patient with us.
Thank you. So the tour started on Monday in Bodden Town, wraps up on the
Yes.
22nd.
Yep.
Didn't start in Brac.
No, Brac is in the middle, the center of it all, right?
I thought you were going to say the Brac
Are you
starts.
feeding into his ego?
The Brac starts it off.
It's
It
the capital.
leads the way.
Great for
Capital,
you going out. But before we end, hello
please,
Cayman
yeah.
Brac and Little Cayman. Thank you.
I gotta give him credit. Really quickly, I know we got to wrap the show up. Before we did this segment, I mentioned a challenge I was putting out there for the community. From yesterday on work, Mr. Banks called in. We had work on the show, and we were talking about how the community can better help with getting people to come out to those registration drives. Now, whether you agree with the way the drives are being operated, or whether you like how work is operating, or whatever you like or don't like with the current way of operating, there are 60 candidates running, or more than running for office. And I was suggesting,
I thought it was 58.
is it
58 now.
58
58.
now? Okay, so 58 is still, that's still if
still a good
all
one.
58 candidates brought 10 people to next week's work event, that's nearly 500 people that could theoretically take, just like Nick did when he had to go and look for a job, pound in the pavement. It's right there. And if he did it again in 2 weeks, and if he did it again there's 4 of these sessions, and then one in Cayman Brac coming up, theoretically, why wait until after you win a seat in election when right now there are 4 events, all 58 candidates are speaking about employment, immigration, education. Here's a chance. Put money where the mouth is. Go out in your communities. Find 10 people every week. Call your grandmothers. Call Mr. Banks is out there. We mentioned Miss Martin on the show. There are many Miss Martins in this community who know their communities. They know the students that were their former students who are currently struggling with whatever they're struggling with. Here's your chance for the next month. You can start this ball rolling right now. And
For sure. And I think I can speak for all the National Party candidates.
Please.
We aren't waiting until we get elected to do anything for our people. We will constantly be working. We have been working in our communities with our people, for our people. And so that will continue. And I look forward to work coming to Cayman Brac when that is scheduled. And I will be assisting anybody in the community that needs assistance with finding work. We will find them work.
Yep.
Fantastic. Everyone, thank you so much. All the best tonight with the
Thanks, Raymond.
Thanks very
Appreciate
much.
it.
the broadcast. And on that note, we will send it back to Miss Susan Watson in studio. Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation, the team from Rotary Central, the Crisis Center, and obviously the Cayman Islands National Party. And of course, Miss Susan Watson, also from Cayman Brac, holding out in the studio. Mr. O'Connor will be back in studio tomorrow. On behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, have a very happy Wednesday. I'm Raymond Singh, and God bless.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.